Hello everybody, welcome to my video. All I'm going to be doing is drawing on this blank canvas with no plans or anything like that and just talking. So if that kind of content aligns with your morals, feel free to grab a piece of paper and draw along with me, study, or grab some food and eat. I don't know, but yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it. So, first thing I should probably, huge disclaimer, is that I am not a professional artist. I don't consider myself a mediocre artist. I'm just someone who likes to draw or just, experiment and play around a little bit with art and different things. I like to, video editing and drawing here and there and storyboarding and all that kind of stuff. I love to do that. So, that's just what I'm doing. So yeah, disclaimer over. And then the program that I'm using is Clip Studio Paint. You might have, if you're familiar with art or digital art, Clip Studio Paint you've probably heard of it before. It used to be called Manga Studio, I think. Manga Studio 5 or something like that. So yeah, essentially it was just initially created to create manga, which is, the Japanese style comics, which this program is amazing. It is really geared toward just drawing, well, not shit, but yeah, this is geared towards the specifically drawing, because you have like programs like Photoshop that do just way more than drawing. They focus on photoshopping, doctoring images and stuff like that. This is more geared towards drawing and what's the animation called, hand-drawn animations, the frame-by-frame animations. It really focuses on that specific style of art. So that's essentially what it is. But yeah, it's Clip Studio Paint, if you're wondering. And I didn't pay for it. It's usually like $50 or something like that. They usually have a lot of discounts. But it came with a tablet that I bought about a month back. The tablet's called the Wacom Intuos. You could just do a quick Google search on it. It'll come up. And it came bundled with Clip Studio Paint, Painting Essentials 5 or something like that, and Corel Photo something. I don't know. The only one that I pretty much use is Clip Studio Paint. It's such an amazing platform if you really want to get into drawing, and if you're a beginner when it comes to just any digital art in general. I would definitely say Clip Studio Paint is the way to go. It's been very nice. There's tutorials online about it. It's very nice. So yeah. Let's see. So yeah, I don't even know what I have going on here. It's like a fucking octopus or whatever. Or, I don't know. Whatever it is. But yeah, the reason why I'm pretty much just creating videos like this is you can see that they're very rough right now. I'm talking into a mic at the same time drawing, and it's very, very, very difficult. So essentially I'm just trying to get better at editing, sound design, drawing, that whole thing. And there's no better way to do it than actually getting in front of a camera in a presentable manner, as in like having the mindset of this is going to go up on the internet and people are going to see it. That is like the mindset a lot of people struggle with. And that is the one I'm struggling with right now, is that like I want to upload videos and stuff about doing things, I'm not just art, This is just something I do in my free time. So I was like, there's no better way to do it than, recording it and using a lav mic and getting all that stuff, situated and stuff like that. And using OBS and figuring out what it takes in order to, upload quality content, but at the same time perform or do that kind of stuff, because I really, 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 really want to get started on that. I'm a video editor at the moment, and I just do a lot of editing videos and stuff like that. But I've been really wanting to start dabbling into my own content, which, you know, you think, oh, video editors, they're surrounded by videos all the time, so they know how to act and all that and stuff and do all that stuff very flawlessly and smoothly. But you are completely wrong if you think that, because I can't tell you that is just far from the truth. That, you know, some might be really good. Don't get me wrong, I don't speak for everyone, I'm speaking for myself here, pretty much. But if you think that someone that edits videos should just automatically be good at presenting themselves in front of a camera, we're editors for a reason. How about that? Yeah, no, I'm not going to speak for all editors. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that edit their own videos and crap like that, and they're fucking amazing at doing that stuff. And, you know, a lot of people give those, content creators shit and whatnot for, not editing their video that good, or, their sound is off or their quality is bad, but you don't really understand the weight behind it until you get down and dirty with it and do it yourself. I can't explain how difficult it is to do pretty much everything media oriented. And I've been doing a lot of media stuff for the past 3 years. A lot of video editing, a lot of geared towards the film and cinematography world. But when it comes to just getting in front of a camera and speaking and all that, it's just something that doesn't come naturally, I would say. I think you kind of have to either work your way up towards it, or just be born into it at a very young age to where it just becomes a second nature. And I think that's pretty much the things. I don't know. Take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm just rambling on and drawing at the same time. I'm trying to focus on two things at once. But yeah. So yeah, if there's anyone watching, hope I'm not boring you. I guess if I have bored you, you would have clicked away a long time ago, considering how the internet works. But yeah, I've edited a few YouTubers' videos. I'm one of those discreet editors that just hides behind, the curtains. I don't even know what's going on with this tentacle right here. It's all flabby and flaccid. But yeah, I'm using a lavalier mic. It's a Boya mic. I'm just plugging everyone today. It's a Boya mic, so it's like a very $20 cheap microphone hooked up to my smartphone. I do have a Blue Yeti Snowball. The Snowball. Yeah. Should probably hook that up. It is hooked up and everything, but I should probably optimize it better, and I'm just really just wanted to jump into this at the moment. I didn't want to put too much thought into it. I went into this video with that mindset of just jumping into it. I'm just going to ramble into a camera and yada yada yada. I restarted this video 10 times. That's how crappy I am when it comes to just thinking about just rambling. I'm going to go ramble into a camera, right? And then you think, oh man, people are going to see this and it's really bad. And it's like, no, get that idea out of your head. Like, people are going to see it, but you're just practicing. Like, no one's probably going to see this video, and I know that. But the thing that bothers me the most is, like, how can I send out something with poor quality? And it's like, if you've never done it before, then you should probably just make crap first, right? Make crap first, and then it'll get better with time. That's kind of how I see it. But every time I make crap, I'm just like, I can't share this to anyone. But that's the way it works. So I finally have come to grips with it, and that's why this video is really rough right now, is because I've just learned to ship crap. That's pretty much what it is. Man. So yeah, if you guys are drawing, man, just or if anyone's watching this and drawing or doing anything, leave it in the comments or something. I'm really interested to see if anyone watches this, what they're doing right now, because that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm just doing this to hang out. Don't need to worry about the views or anything like that. Bring it back to the old school YouTube days when, oh my God, when people would just make videos to make videos and have a good time. I guess that's what I'm trying to do. Just having a good time, It's really, don't get the wrong idea. I'm not lonely or anything like that. I just, this is just something that's just seemed like fun doing. Man, this is turning out really rough. Oof. And I hope I don't offend anyone by saying, oh, this drawing is, crap or anything like that. Like, I'm always going to say that, even if the drawing ends up being like Leonardo da Vinci style. I mean, the lengths of drawing, I would always say it's not good. I'll probably always say that about my work, because I think there's always room for improvement, but I'm the type of person, when someone else draws something and it looks, remotely decent, I'm like, damn, that's good. And I guess it's just the mindset. I'm pretty sure a lot of people do that. It's just like the idea of like, oh, my stuff is bad. And, it's not for the sake either of like saying that just to make lower people's expectations. So when they see it, they're like, oh no, that's actually good. No, it's just because I'm not satisfied with whatever I do. And I know that's not a healthy thing. It's being very hard on yourself is not a healthy thing, but, it's just a normal instinct. I think a lot of like people that try to deal with art or anything in general, when it comes to like the building something, you could be an engineer or an artist, an editor, an actor, someone who works on construction or anything like that, and they could look back at their work and say, yeah, that's not that great. I think a lot of like creative minds really struggle with that idea of that, their work is not always up to par. And I think that's just a thing, I think a human instinct just to improve, to always get better at something, And I think at sometimes it's healthy, but other times I think it could be very unhealthy. Like sometimes you just need to, reward yourself. Sometimes you need to take a break, reward yourself, and give yourself a pat on the back and say, man, I did really good today. And today's not going to be one of those days. Because I promised myself, no matter how crappy the recording came out, how bad this video is, I'm just going to ship it. I'm going to put it up. If anyone sees it or gets this far, they'll be like, oh, cool, yeah. But, yeah. All right, time to stop talking about that. So yeah, let's focus a little bit more on this drawing right here. I don't know what it is. Came into the mindset of, I'm going to draw something, don't know what it is, and then I guess an octopus came out of it or something along the line. So far, it's an octopus. And I got so stuck into talking that I just kept doing tentacles and I stopped focusing on the drawing. So maybe a little bit more focusing on the drawing. I don't know. Let's just focus on some details here. But yeah, man, I want to know about you guys. Are you, I don't know, are you in high school? Are you in college? Are you done with both of those? Did you not go to any of those? That's cool. We accept everyone here. This is a happy place for everyone. Just to talk about different things, man. I don't know. If you want to talk about something, let me know. Let me know in the comments. I'll talk about it next time. Tune in next time, That would be cool. Have like a little support group on YouTube. Hell yeah, I'm ready for that. Oh, we all come from different backgrounds, different places. Someone could be watching this video and not even understand a single word I'm saying, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe someone will translate it and they will learn and we'll start talking about something in a different culture or something like that. That'd be cool. Different culture, I don't know. Keep talking different cultures. I guess so. I don't know, I'm not going to get into that. A lot of people have different preferences when it comes to, culture and what culture is and who could wear what and who could represent what, and I just think that's why worry about it? It's a beautiful thing, culture. Why not share it? Why can't culture be for everyone? Why isn't there a huge human culture? How about that? That's awesome. I don't know. Some professor out there could probably, give me a whole textbook on the human culture and what culture we all share and yada yada yada, but I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's the fun way. Textbooks aren't fun. I think the only fun textbook I've ever had was a textbook about animation. That was about it. Very good textbook on animation. It was like this big book, and it had all these different drawings on it, and I was a kid at the time when I saw it, and that's probably why it was the most fun, because of all the nude pictures. When you're like flipping through the books and you're just like, oh my god, I saw a penis. Or vaginas. I don't know. Either way. And this is where I start like, shit, I hope my audio recording is still going and my video is still filming and all that. But I'm not going to worry about it, because if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. Yeah, I'm doing it again. I'm zoning out and I'm getting into the tentacles and stuff. Oh man, that looks really bad. But you know what? There's no bad artwork here. There's no bad artwork here. Not today. Not today. Yeah, man. This is really fun. I mean, I'm having a blast. Like, after, I don't know how long, a few minutes of recording and stuff and getting all that stuff out of the way, it's just sitting down and talking for a few minutes. You really start to lose that sense of, oh, I'm recording and stuff like that. So for all of you guys that's wanting to get into like more of the recording aspects, or you really want to record yourself draw, or I don't know, play games or something, just do it. I can't stress that enough. Just fucking do it. Cause like I should be cussing, but you should just fucking do it, because there's no other way to learn than just doing it. You can look up all these YouTube videos, all these videos on all these different subjects and how to do something. You can go get a Skillshare and do all that, fancy stuff. But I don't think nothing compares to actually doing it. And yeah, sure, you could look up tutorials and on stuff and like what equipment you need and what's the best. But for me, I think it's the artist can make nothing into something, right? You don't need all these fancy tools and equipment in order to create art, It's just one of those things that I think you just need to do and have a good time. It's definitely something to be learnt, not to be, forced. Like a textbook, just to slowly get hands-on with a subject and learn. Man, I'm not making any sense. Yeah, I've had no sleep. No sleep for like 24 hours. That's not good. But hey, man, I'm pretty sure some of you out there, those of you watching and not watching, have lacked in sleep before. Shit, I'm pretty sure some people have gone 4 days without sleep, and I'm over here like I haven't slept for 1 day, Remember those, like, those all-nighters, you know? Yeah, you'd be studying or something, or something like that, and you just stay up all night, and you go, you know, either to school or whatever you're doing the next day, and you just can't stop shaking. You're cold. You feel nauseous. Those days are the worst. But I don't know. It's those days that I remember the most, and I always have like this nostalgic feeling about it, because it's just like, it's so terrible, yet at the same time, it's so funny to think that was even a thing. And I know some of you, if you're watching, you know, that's probably still a thing for you, where you spend up all night, you know, either studying or, you know, trying to get good at something, whether if it's an art program or, you know, learning to do taxes or whatever. I don't know, you could be standing up all night and you're just like, wow, is this even worth it? But when you look back at all that stuff, of course it's worth it, because it's all the memories. You know, you're not going to have good memories if you're just doing nothing. You got to have bad experiences to have some type of memories, right? The bad experiences are going to make the good experiences amplified, if that makes any sense. Like, I think it's the saying, you know, like that yin and yang stuff, you know, without dark there would be no light, or without light there would be no dark. So you need, in order to have a world with greatness, or, you know, good, you need to have evil. Yeah, I was really big on philosophy. If you could tell, I was pretty big on philosophy. I don't know about you guys, but I really liked the idea behind some of the philosophical ideas those philosophers had back then, you know, like Nietzsche and Kierkegaard and all of them. Like, I didn't agree with all their stuff, and a lot of it I was kind of like, wow, that's a little bit insane. That's a little bit crazy. But it was always fun to just get into the philosophy of other people, you know, get deep into the mind set of people, and really try to understand where they came from, you know. A lot of people like to just sit back and go, that person's flipping crazy. That person is just insane. I don't know why they sat in the middle of the road and took a crap right in the middle of the road. And then this person who took a crap in the middle of the road is probably like, I don't understand why people don't understand me taking a crap in the middle of the road. And philosophy, essentially, is understanding why that person took a crap in the middle of the road. So, if any of you want to get into philosophy, I basically summed it up right there. It's the idea behind other people's ideas. If the love of thinking, philosophy, like philia, you know, the Latin word for love, and you know, philosophy, the love of thinking. Man, I really butchered that, but you know, you get the idea. What am I drawing? Do I want to put like a mark here? This is just a sketch, but I just want to get bizarre and stuff again. I've been, I should just mention, I've been using this program for about a month now, and you're probably like, why isn't he like advanced in his sketching and stuff like that? Well, I've been doing comic panels, and I do editing, and I also do like coloring and color grading and all this other things for other people. So I've just been doing comic panels, and I know how to work the colors and paint and oils and stuff. Not to the best of my abilities. Don't get me wrong, when you see it, or if you do see it, it's not going to be the best. Trust me. But Sorry, I just had to check if my audio is still running. But yeah, it's the paint and stuff on here I use for like comic panels and stuff like that, like the oil paints and stuff, and it's just really getting to know all of them. So yeah, I haven't really done any of my own sketching on this program. This is pretty much the first time I'm actually getting into it. I usually do paper and stuff like that. I would be doing all this on paper right now, like actual paper, but that's just too hard. That's just too much. This is so much easier. I could just pull up a recording, OBS or whatever, and record it at the same time you guys watch. Not the same time you guys watch. At the same time, I could just paint, color, all that crap, and draw, audio, everything mixed into one. I don't have to angle a camera down, make sure my camera doesn't overheat, take pauses and all that. So yeah, essentially that's why I'm doing it on digital. And plus I get to practice digital since I'm moving more into digital from now on. I'm pretty sure some of you, maybe, I don't know, some of you might have the idea of going from paper to digital. You see all these, the expensive markers people buy, like Copic markers, and they're very expensive. And, you could be that one person that, that's not making a crap ton of money. Yeah, that's normal. Everyone, lives different lives. And you could be like, well, I don't want to spend all this money on these very expensive markers, and I want to use all these colors. Well, digital is there. And you might have this lingering suspicion in the back of your head, oh, if I use digital, it's going to take away from that traditional art that I do. And my input on that is very anticlimactic, but it is what it is. It's all what you think. If you're that type of person that likes to save that piece of art and put it on the wall, then, you can still do that, but with digital art, it's going to be, a printout, unless they figure out ways to, transfer that into an actual painting, digital into an actual painting, no. But, for me, I think it's totally worth it because one, you just get to experiment with all these different colors and stuff like that. And if you're really into the traditional way of, painting on paper and stuff like that, you're not necessarily just throwing that away. You're utilizing a different platform that prioritizes efficiency over, the traditional kind of, art. So you could experiment with all these different colors and different things on these, these simulated brushes and stuff like that, and really come to a close result of what you'd get on actual paper. And I'll take that with a grain of salt, but it's a really good way to experiment and too long didn't read kind of sense, Like, for example, like this painting right here, or this picture right here, I could just easily hold down the E button and just start erasing, and it'll be cleaner than anything. And it's so efficient and so easy compared to a regular eraser, where I have to get in there and erase little tiny things and make sure I don't, make sure I don't smudge anything or rip the paper or anything like that, which, I don't know. It's just something that I think it's very efficient. It's very nice. A lot of things are on digital nowadays, so it's really nice to get that skill of doing things on digital. But that just because you're doing that doesn't mean you're throwing away your traditional sense of art. Because I've seen a lot of people like scoff at the idea of doing digital art, as funny as that sounds. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there that don't want to do digital, and I completely understand. I understand where you're coming from. I thought the same thing, even though I'm not like an amazing artist or whatever. Like it's something that you just don't want to get rid of. Is just like the element of having that piece for yourself, and I think it's just a traditional feeling behind it, if that makes any sense. having something to keep or have something to give as like a gift is like, I think the main reason why people like to do the traditional, and some people just like the feeling of it. But I mean, digital is just another skill I think that can be built on top of the traditional work. Yeah, it can be built on top of it. It's more of like this. Yeah, I don't even realize what this just big thing is. It looks like a fist flying in underground or underwater, I should say. Oh, maybe. No. Can it be? I had an idea. But, yeah, we have hit the 30-minute mark. Wow. And this is all we got. I'm going to go into inking. So I hope you guys stuck along this far. If you have stuck along this far, leave a comment. Say, hey, your video really fucking sucks. At least something, so I could tell you got this far. I mean, something. Because that would be great. I would like to know who got this far. I'm pretty sure analytics will take care of it and all that stuff. But it's just like nice to have like, people that genuinely want like a what am I doing? I'm not even thinking. But yeah, it's nice to have people that genuinely just respond. I don't know, it's just this idea, Yeah. It's funny because you usually see like Let's Players on YouTube or whatever, and they're playing a game and whatnot, and they're just doing everything wrong. And you're like, why is this person so bad at games? Like, they're a gamer on YouTube. And like, you don't realize the amount of attention span and just genuine wit you need to have in order to like multitask with that kind of stuff, especially video games. Because video games is like video games are like those things that you need to like multitask in, There's so many things going on in video games. Like, I mean, for example, like RPG games, you have inventory, you've got your character, like Pokemon or whatever. Like, you have your character, the adventure, all this text popping up on the screen, the Pokemon, you have to manage all of them. And if you're a Let's Player, you have to also take into account your audience, which is super hard to even fathom when you're trying to be entertaining at the same time. So genuinely is a skill and a definite talent. I tip my fedora to you guys. Definitely. Fedora tipping. I never even worn a fedora. Oh, man. There's probably a way better way to do this, but I'm just rolling with it. I hate curves. Curves are like the worst. You know what? This is going to be the worst piece of art you've ever seen. But that's okay. Because I've already explained why I say that. Yeah, I should probably add music to this video. But at the same time, I've always looked and seen and always realized, like, hey, why did you put music in the video? It really ruined it. But I don't know. Some people just like the silence, relaxing. I don't have a relaxing voice. I know that. I knew that going into this, but I mean, you get what you get, right? It's just a fun time with each other. I don't know. Yeah, this is real time. And I'm just trying to cut corners as much as I can, which I shouldn't be doing. But hey, man, I'm not going to put this up on the wall. I'm probably just going to delete it afterwards. Unless someone wants it, then I'll just email it to them. They could put it up on their wall. They could send me a picture of it. A picture of this picture on their wall. That would be insane. That's like 1 million subscriber special material, if you know what I mean. You know, like being a consumer of YouTube videos and just seeing like those people get the plaques and stuff, I'm like, the first thought that goes to my mind, like, you know, the 100 subscriber YouTube plaques, and I'm like, does YouTube know what they got themselves into? Like, how many plaques do they have to make? Like, I'm pretty sure there's some statistic out there or some like number website that explains like how many 100,000 YouTube channels there are and how many YouTube plaques are made, or how many YouTube plaques actually were made and got received and stuff. I've actually heard some YouTubers, you could probably name a few, have gotten like denied their access to their play buttons because they falsely reached their, I'm doing like the air quote thingies, reached their subscriber count, which I don't know how you'd falsely receive. I mean, buying subscribers maybe, or I don't know, making like several accounts on the same Wi-Fi address. But I really don't know how you do that, but they got denied access to their play buttons. And I'm like, this is like a conspiracy right here, right? This is like tinfoil hats. Like, did YouTube just do that because they ran out of material for their play buttons? And there's like, fudge, what do we do? Like, do we just email everyone saying like, sorry, no play button, you falsely got it? Like, or I don't know. It's just one of those things that's like, that has to be a thing, right? Where just like YouTube just like, okay, we've started something, a trend, right? Like this YouTube play button. But they didn't think of what would happen if millions of people started getting 100,000 subscribers. Like, do they just say, sorry guys, the YouTube play button is no longer a thing? Or we're raising the sub count or something like that, and it's just going to be an old relic of the past. Like, if I was working at YouTube over there in YouTube headquarters or whatever, I'd be scared of that. That's the first thing I would think of. Is just like, what happens when everyone gets 100,000 subscribers, you know? Do you just cancel it? Does it just become like, well, screw you, YouTube? Like, I don't know. Guess I don't know. Maybe they already canceled that stuff. I haven't seen one of those for a while. You probably, if you're into digital art or anything like that, you're probably laughing at this inking job I'm doing. But I'm not going for a clean shit. I'm not going for a clean look. That's an excuse, by the way, but yeah, that'd be great. I could probably use a curve tool and stuff. Like, I've been using the curve tool and line tool a lot, which, if you guys don't know, let me show you real quick. If you guys don't know, the curve tool is very nice. You can just bend it, make it nice and curvy but like, I know it's not cheating. That's the reason for getting the software, so you have all these nice, nifty, easy, essential tools, efficient tools. But no matter what I do, whenever I use those tools, which I have used a lot, every time I do it, I feel like I'm cheating. So for this video, and since I'm like trying to improve, but I figured that's a lot harder to do when talking. Well, either way, I'm trying to improve, so I'm just gonna do the hand method, just write by hand. And I don't know, some of you watching has probably never done digital art and maybe wanna get into it, or you're just thinking, I don't have enough money or anything like that to get into the digital art. I'm gonna be honest, I started with a digital mouse. That was a couple years back. I started with a digital mouse. Not a digital mouse, I started with this wire old mouse. And it's really hard, very difficult. But if you're wanting to get into digital art, anything is a starting point. I mean, if you have to use the touchpad on your laptop, do it, because just getting familiar with the tools and just the different shortcuts and all these different platforms, even if you go from platform to platform, you already have somewhat of a basic idea on just the platform and how everything works. It's something that you can't learn, just overnight. It's something that you kind of have to get used to and just take time learning. So even if it's a crappy wired mouse and you're just doing digital art with it, do it. I can't stress that enough. And not coming from a professional, but at the same time, it's just something that I think what will make you improved instead of just relying on tools to make you better. Because for those of you who know who David Firth is, the guy who created, Salad Fingers, the whole entire first episode of Salad Fingers was done with a ball mouse. So that's not even like the mouse I have. That's like the old style mouse, like the ones from like the 90s. Like the old style mouse with like the ball, and you'd have to like shake it a couple times if the ball got stuck and stuff. And he created an entire animation, and I think he said he did it in one night, one day, one night or something. And that is insane. If you haven't seen Salad Finger, just go watch it. Such a good animation, such a wonderful animation. That's just, to believe that he did the first episode in one night with a ball mouse is just insane to me. And I think that's kind of like an inspiration. It's like, you don't need any of that crazy equipment. And for sure he has, better equipment now, and he spends maybe about a year creating an animation to, he always wants to go for that improvement. But, he started from just a little ball mouse, one night, got that done, and it just blew up, And I'm pretty sure it didn't blow up overnight either. I mean, this was back on like Newgrounds, when things were a little bit more, you did things just because you wanted to, you didn't think about the views or anything. So sure, it took time, but that's not what it's about. His animation now is like insane, and he's just one guy behind it. He makes his own music, draws his own animations. It's so cool, man. Like that's definitely something like I wouldn't mind dabbling into, and the only way I'm gonna do it is by doing it. So it takes talent, but talent is not, you're not born with talent. I'll say that. You make talent. I don't get this idea of, yeah, sure, some people are more like streamlined or level-headed than others when it comes to certain things, but to just write it off as a talent is just so discrediting to that person that's really good at what they do. Because I mean, it takes practice and skill to get good at anything. I just don't think you're born with being good at it. I mean, you see those like those prodigy piano players at the age of like 4 and stuff. It's like they didn't just start playing piano like amazing. They've been practicing every day since they were like 3. And that's just this incredible young age to start, but they had to practice regardless. So it's like, just saying, oh, that person's talented. It's nice to hear that, but I mean, they worked hard for it. Remember that, guys. Saying someone's talented is an insult. No, just kidding. Just kidding. I should get a t-shirt that says just kidding, because half the crap I say is just like, it's just like, sarcastic in a way. Maybe not in this video, but, in real life, it's really sarcastic. And some of it's kind of blunt, very dry, and a lot of people that I meet with, either for editing videos or just friends in general, they take what I say a little bit too seriously sometimes, which I know is my fault. I probably need to give a little bit more expression sometimes. But if I have a t-shirt that says just kidding, I don't have to reassure them that, hey man, I was just kidding. They'll just they'll look at the t-shirt and say, gotcha. Makes sense, yeah. I once had a t-shirt that says sarcasm and some, sarcastic definition of it or whatever. Hated that t-shirt because everyone would look at me like, oh, this guy's a wisecrack, huh? I was like, no, I was just hand-me-downs. That's rough. Oof. I probably should have just stuck with the sketch. But you know what? We're going to roll with it because why not, right? Why not? Why not? Why not? I just come to the realization that I'm not going to get this done anytime soon while talking if I just try to make it perfect. So I'm sorry, guys. This is just how it's gonna happen. I mean, if you stuck this far, you might as well finish to the end. Oh, I forgot I had this crazy stitch up here. That's pretty cool. You know what? I'm gonna cheat. Just a little kick cheat. It's not cheating, guys. It's part of the program. You spend the 50. Oh, it's not even gonna work. I have to do it like this then. Make a little trick. Boop. I've actually been working on a web comic that will be up hopefully very soon. Not going to say what it is yet. Still debating on how to go about it, but yeah, that's the props of working on other people's stuff and crap like that. It's you also get to learn a lot from I can't explain how much you learn just from editing videos. I edit videos about running or tree work and stuff like that, or just construction, and I help people or dental offices with their videos and editing and stuff, and it's you learn so much from just editing. Editing other people's videos, especially if it's an educational video and it's you have to sit down and look at the footage. I could tell you all about how to cut up a tree and how to tie all these knots and how tractors work and what dental equipment you need to use and stuff like that. That's just stuff I've learned from editing videos, and I'm pretty sure it's never going to be useful to me at all. It's just so cool to just learn random crap while editing videos. It's just one of those things that's, I don't know, something you wouldn't expect from a very basic sounding job. Yeah, I edit videos. People just think, oh, so do you just use Windows Movie Maker? You cut those things up and you paste them all together? Well, no, it's not exactly like that. First of all, I use a little bit more of a advanced program, and I actually look through all the footage and I, organize it, cut it up. You ask the person. Editing is this thing that's it's almost like this program in a way. It's like very artistic. You have this blank canvas in front of you, and it's your job to get all those videos and stitch them together, put all these effects and color grade it and voice over it in a certain way to where it tells a story. You have all these, you'd have all these random videos, and it's up to you, the editor, to put all that together to make a story. And I think there's something so cool about that, because there's so many boring topics in this world. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of boring topics in this world, and I know you could probably name 100 off your head. You could probably name more boring topics than you can interesting topics. But the cool thing is that editing can make all those boring topics at least bearable or interesting, like classical music and stuff like that. Like, some people find that very, very interesting, and I guarantee you there are hundreds of people that find it not interesting, uninteresting. That's where editing could come in, right? You could edit a story far more interesting than just some, professor talking about classical music and where it derived from, and how classical music was challenged by a man named Eric Satie, a French man, or I believe he was French, who created music and who created music for the sake of creating music. He didn't have any purpose behind it, and he got thrown in jail for it. It's a lot more complicated for that, but it's like this. I'll get to it to another time, but it's just this idea of like, there's so many interesting stories and things that could come into like something that may seem like a boring subject, and you could edit all that in, and with all these nice, cuts and transitions to music and everything like that, and having a good narrator or a voiceover, throwing that all into one project is what can make a very boring subject into a very interesting, complex subject that you probably would have never thought was interesting in the first place. But yeah, that's just my little take on editing and why why I like it so much. It's so versatile in what you could do, and I guess the idea of just being able to make nothing into something is just something I've always liked. Always found that fun. So yeah, I mean, if you guys want me to, do a video on something, or edit up a video, or do this while editing a video, I'll be happy to do it. That's fun. That sounds pretty fun to me. Or better yet, if you want any subjects that you want me to talk about, I'll be willing to talk about them. It's not like my input matters or anything, but I don't know. Some people just like, doing work or eating and having something to listen to, or have, something on in the background while they do something. And, I don't really see a lot of channels that draw or anything like that primarily focus on just drawing whatever and talking about whatever. It's something that I really wanted. Maybe there's a channel out there you could recommend it to me, but it's something that I wanted that I felt like it needed to be filled in, so I did it. I know, I'm doing someone's, just kidding, no, I'm not doing anyone's bidding. But yeah, it's just something that I've always understood, like, a lot of like going back to like the Let's Players and stuff like that, their content is like so interesting, because that stuff, some people just put that on in the background and they just like to have something to listen to, and I've realized that myself. Like, I can't listen to music when I go to bed. Like, I mean, I probably could, but I find people talking a little bit more bearable, and that depends on the person, of course, but I always find people talking a little bit more bearable than just listening to music, because there's something soothing about the voice of a human, or not just the human, but particular things that I find in like human speech a little more soothing than just music. I think for me it's just, I kind of zone out when it comes to human speaking, as ridiculous as that sounds, but like when I hear music, there's all these intricate sounds going on and all these different things, and my mind's racing to figure out, what instrument is that, or like, how do they create that sound? And like, I love that stuff. I'll listen to that and I'll do that in my free time when I'm not trying to sleep. But when I'm trying to sleep, just hearing to someone talk, it's like, okay, gotta tone it out, and like, you start to doze off, and then their speech slowly becomes like white noise, and then you doze off, or you're like half asleep, and you go silent, and then you wake up, and you're like, oh shit, I was listening to someone. And it's like, yeah, it's just, I don't know, probably didn't understand any of that, but long story short, it's more soothing for me. So yeah, I'm pretty sure some people find it soothing as well. Wow, that is probably the worst ink job you're ever going to see, but you know what? Like I said, we're going to roll with it. We are going to roll with it, because that's what we do here. So this is a little trick. Pretty sure anyone that uses this program knows about it. But it's like, do all this. I'm just going to go for one big. I'm not even going to be intricate about it. I'm just going to go right into it. Do it in like a couple sections. That's about it. You're like, where's his little suckers on his tentacles? Well, to be honest, I completely forgot about the little suckers on his tentacles. It's funny how, like, going from this to this could just bring so much more life into anything. I mean, I've done it with a couple comic panels and stuff like that, and it's just like, you're doubting your work until you fill it in with a little bit of color, and you're like, well, it's not that bad after all. Gotta build up that confidence in yourself. Yeah, it's always good to be organized when you're doing this kind of stuff too. I'm just zoning out right now. Having a good time. Yeah, if you guys came for some judgmental art show about judging people's art and stuff, that's not what this is. This is a no one cares kind of art. Like, look at that. Like, this one fit on like, I spent 3 hours on this. Like, no, it's not what it's about. It's about just doing whatever on your mind. And I hope you guys are doing the same, Yeah, I find that very interesting, because like, no one could recreate the random stuff that goes on in your mind. The only one who could show that is you. That's it. Only you. No one else could recreate it. I mean, sure, if you write it on a piece of paper and someone sees it, yeah, sure, they could replicate your drawing, but that initial drawing or the initial idea that you had, no one's going to replicate it. That's what I'm trying to get at. So, if that makes any sense, then there you go. So yeah, so what I'm doing right now is just I'm putting a layer of oil paint inside the green. You can't see it because it's the same shade as the one I put down. And I don't even know if this is necessary. It's just something I do. You'll see that with a lot of people. They like have nothing. They know it's not, absolutely necessary. Or they rightfully know that it's harder to do, but they just do it anyway because that's just the way they work. They're stubborn. They don't want to change, and that's what I'm doing right now. So you know what? That's okay. That's what we do here. We have a good time. Good time. This is like MS Paint Bob Ross session. MS Paint because, quality. I wonder what the title should be for this video, I'm really tempted just to put some douchebaggy clickbait piece of crap title that's gonna get everyone's attention. You're gonna click on it and it's gonna be an hour long, more than an hour long video about some douche just drawing an octopus. Just imagine. Yeah, I mean, it's just, no clue what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. No clue what I'm doing, just doing it. It's probably a lot of people oh, it looks so much better before you put the paint on you. And you know what? I'm thinking the same thing right now, but we're just going to roll with it because that's just what we do. That's just what we do. That's just what we do. Have you ever seen what do you call it? One of those those YouTubers who have a catchphrase or something and catches on? Was it recently it was that one song by that one Minecraft YouTuber, and he was what was it? It was, oh, creeper. Oh, man. And it's funny because he did that 10 years ago. And he just... Not just, I mean, this is a few months ago, but... whatever. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, you know what it is. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I'm really sorry because... I guess we're never gonna know. But that's what we do, man. That is what we do. You're oh, but you're messing it up. No, there's gonna be multiple layers. I'm just adding this for texture, I guess. I don't know. I just need to get better with oil paints and stuff, and right now it's just really difficult for me. And you know why. I mentioned it 30 times. But yeah, I mean, so people, if you got this far in the video, which, man, if you did, thank you. That means you're somewhat of a dedicated person, so I can start asking the dedicated questions. If you guys are into Webtoon, the comic website for webcomics and stuff like that, people can write their own comics or manga or whatever you call it, whatever your jazz is. I don't know. What's your favorite stories on there? Because I'm really wanting to get into Webtoon or Canvas or whatever the uploading thing is up there, but I'm really interested. So if you guys have any good stories, or if you make some, be sure to share them in the comments below. I'll be checking them out. I'll be checking them out for sure. And I'll talk about it too. Man, that'd be nice. One, you get to watch me draw, and two, you get free publicity. If it's your own comic. If you just like a comic that you don't own, that's cool. We can have a discussion about it. I'll read it. I've got time. More than enough time, to be honest with you. More than enough time. There's a lot of people that like to say, "Oh, I don't have time. I don't have time," and then you look at what they're doing and they're not doing much. And it's just like, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people don't have a lot of time, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of people out there that say that they don't have time and they're just saying it because they don't want to do whatever you ask them to do, or they're trying to get out of something. You get the idea, right? Yeah. Yeah, well, I do that sometimes. Not gonna lie. I mean, pretty much talking about myself, this whole thing, right? Which is like another subject that we could even get into, is like that whole like cancel culture thing. Of like, how do people even like do that? I'm really confused when it comes to like cancel culture. Like, I get the appeal in it, don't get me wrong. It's kind of funny sometimes to see, like, not funny because like some people are just destroying people's livelihoods, but what some people argue about is just the most ridiculous things I've ever seen, and people know it. The people that are egging it on wholeheartedly know it, that it's just ridiculous, but they still egg it on, and it's like why? Why? Like, I need answers. Like, I'm the third person that doesn't comment, but I'll sit back and watch. For someone to do something, right? And it's just fun looking at people's, reactions to that kind of stuff, and like, they'll get a camera and they'll cry into it, and like, I didn't mean to do it, and they're like, please don't unsubscribe for me, and then that just makes everyone unsubscribe, and, or it's not just, YouTube, it's, this whole Twitter thing, and whatnot, and I don't know. It's just a weird subject to me that I've never really put too much thought into it. Guaranteeing there's answers, though. Guaranteeing there's answers. So, music. Do any of you guys, another dedicated question, do any of you guys listen to Nujabes, however you want to say it, Sebajun? He's the guy who did the soundtrack for Samurai Champloo, if you know that anime. Samurai Champloo is the guy, same creator who made the anime Cowboy Bebop. He made one, Samurai Champloo, and who did the soundtrack was a part of the soundtrack was a guy named Nujabes, however you want to say it. It's his name backwards, Sebajun. Such an amazing artist. Like, it's just he mixes like the very classical, wind music. I don't even know what to call it. I'm no musical expert, but with like hip hop and stuff, and it just creates this unique sound that I don't think anyone really captivates. He's basically one of the, I don't want to say godfathers, but he's one of the people that kind of pioneered, well, at least to me, pioneered the lo-fi hip hop style of music, because you listen to some of his music, and it's like you could tell it's not like, it doesn't sound like I don't want to say studio quality. It doesn't sound like it was polished too much. It has this very not rustic. It's got this very unpolished kind of underground sounding to it. Like, a lot of the classical instruments don't sound like they were like doctored or anything like that. They really sound genuine to like what they sound like. They sound like if you're in the room with him and like someone made a tiny mistake on like their flute or something, and you could hear that tiny little mistake, but it just makes that song sound 10 times more genuine than it would if it was just like a perfect quality sounding flute or whatever the wind instrument is, or just the sound. It just sounds so like I don't even know what the word is, man. I'm just zoning out here. But I think you guys get the hint. I'm not gonna ramble on about it. It just sounds like genuine music. It just sounds down to earth. There you go, like down to earth, very cool sounding music. And I want to end this conversation on a high note, but he died back in 2010, and man, like, I don't know, it's just a weird feeling to have to have an artist you look up to kind of just pass away. It's not a unique feeling. It's just a very sad in a different kind of way. It's like you have these sad, people close to you, if they die, yeah, of course it's sad. It's like tragic and stuff. But like when someone that you've never met, but you're feeling, sometimes you have a more genuine connection to that person than your own family, because of the music they created. Sometimes, I'm not speaking for everyone, but that's like a thing. You spend more time with some of these artists in your free time listening to their music and stuff, that you genuinely feel devastated when they pass and stuff. So it's, rest in peace, Nujabes. But it's just it's a feeling that I just, I find very, it's interesting to me, because it's just so, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have felt that before, where like an artist or anything like that, like a musical artist or something that you've consumed, an actor or anything like that, and they pass away, but you feel genuinely sad because you've been listening to their music or watching their acting for some time. Like, it's just this different feeling of like confusion. I think that's the best way to describe it. In my case, perhaps, like, it's confusion. Like, I'm not the type of person to go on the internet and like grief about it either. Like, I just kind of like, it's just confusion for me, because it's like, I don't know this person, not at all, but I've listened to their music or watched their acting for so long to, it just feels like I need to be, genuine about it, or like I need to make it feel like I genuinely care. I kind of worded that wrong, but like, you do genuinely care, but you try to like, I don't know, just a weird feeling. But to segue, you should watch Samurai Champloo if you haven't seen it. For those of you who have seen it, let's talk about it. Because it's I'm not going to spoil it or anything, but such a good anime. It's definitely one of those animes that like it could be a turnoff at first, because it's so episodic, and it seems very episodic, and it's just kind of all over the place, and it just seems like they're going nowhere, and it's really hard to get into for some people, and I understand that's a thing, but they get into so many different topics and stories, and just different they get into different situations that you never see in like an original anime, or like story based, like a complete epic of a comic. You'll never see any of those things expressed, but this one's more of like an episodic one, so it's nice to just sit down and enjoy it for what it is. Like, it's one of those anime that you could watch and you could pick up any episode and just enjoy it. It doesn't matter what the story is. You could just pick it up, enjoy it. You don't have to know what's going on. You could just sit there and and just be completely like, I don't know what they're doing, but it's entertaining because it's just every episode's about something different and just so unique to whatever I guess the director was feeling that day. I guess he just got up and made a story about it. So yeah, that's just a little bit of art for you guys to go out there and consume. It's just for those of you who haven't seen Samurai Champloo, it's like during that time period of when samurai were becoming more and more, I guess, extinct. Or like the idea of the samurai, the old ways of the samurai were starting to deplete, or how do you put it? They're being diminished and stuff like that. And you have these two characters that are like, one's a ronin and the other one's a ronin being like a runaway samurai, and the other one's just like a pirate. But literally it's just them and their journey to help some girl out, and that's basically the gist of the story. But they just go through so many different things. It breaks away from the story, and you kind of forget what the story's about, and you kind of come back to it, come back to it, and it's just so cool. So cool, because like what's his name, the pirate dude, his name's Mugen, and his fighting style is based off breakdancing, which is just so fucking cool. It's like you couldn't be any more creative than that. Like, I'm just gonna base my character's fighting style off breakdancing. So stuff like that I'm a big fan of. It's just getting outside of your box and creating stuff that just seems so weird and unique. And even though people might say, oh, that's a stupid idea, I can't believe someone came up with that, people just go for it anyway. They don't care how much money it's going to cost if that idea flops, or they don't care how the time it's going to waste if people don't like it. They do it because they genuinely have a passion for it. It's Watanabe, the creator of the director, I guess, of that and Cowboy Bebop and Space Dandy. But I gotta say, yeah, I've been feeling a little bit more comfortable, just talking. I might not be making as much sense because I'm not thinking too much about it. But I'm talking, I'm having a good time. And if you're watching, thank you. Just because if you are, I'm at least talking to someone and it doesn't make me feel like a complete weirdo. Talking to myself in a room. It's funny because like I do picture kind of like when I'm doing this, I picture an audience watching, even though no one's here and I know no one's listening to me at the moment, and it might be days or even hours or weeks before this even goes up, but I do feel like there's an audience watching that genuinely cares about what I say. So it's a bit of a weird thing. I know a lot of people like probably don't feel that when they do that, and I tell you, I didn't feel that way 40 minutes ago, but the more I do this, the better it feels. It's like someone out there genuinely cares, even though no one's listening. But yeah. So I mean, yeah, if you're wanting to get into like this digital art thing and you're looking at me and you're like learning from what I'm doing, which I'm sorry I haven't been really explaining my process, which I probably should be doing, but that didn't occur to me till now. So basically what I'm doing is I put like a base, which is like the one under this. I put that base and then I basically clipped an oil painting layer. So I just made another layer and I clipped it with this little tool right here. There's like YouTube tutorials on it, but like I basically clipped that layer onto this one, so whatever I paint on the layer above it only stays on the green. So you're probably like, why is this brush not going outside the lines? It's because I filled it in with this color and I moved to my oil brush, and I went on top of it, and now I get to make it look all fancy smanchy and stuff like that, even though it's a very poor job. But I mean, it is what it is, right? So yeah. Yeah, so just doing a little bit of the shading and stuff, and I'm not really thinking too much about it this time. If I was just here alone and doing my own stuff, I'd probably be like, really trying to detail all this, but right now I'm just trying to like, put the shading in where I think shading would be cool. It's really inconsistent sometimes when it comes to shading, but I mean, I like consistency within in pictures sometimes. It just gives this human feel to it. Going back to that whole like digital thing, it's like these mistakes is what makes it feel like it's painted, like I made a mistake and I couldn't remove it, so I didn't. And sometimes that's what people find appealing. Some people could, look around that and see a painting for more than just the idea of the final product. It's the journey. The journey is what makes the art. I guess that could be a good reason for recording all this. I could easily finish this painting and make it look really nice and stuff and put it up on the internet to have people, like it or comment on it and, give me feedback. But having this video, it's like a not just for everyone else, for even for me, it's like to have this journey, right? It's like this journey of me creating this and talking about stuff and what's going through my mind while I'm doing it. It could genuinely fade to some random stuff, or I could just be talking about the painting in general and what goes into it. But it's like the journey behind it. And even though this journey is not that big, it's still one to be seen by maybe one person out there. Right? And that's not the idea. The idea is that I'm making this for me, and people that come, it's just a bonus. Right? And if they want to talk about stuff and have a good time, then I would be more than happy to have a good conversation with people, because that is just awesome. Like, that's like it's one thing to go talk with the people you hang out with every day, or like your genuine circle of friends, but to have just a random encounter with people that have common interests with you on the internet, I always find those to be some very interesting conversations. Not all the time they're not the best, but sometimes, well, a lot of times I've ran into some where people are just genuinely passionate on the internet. A lot of people are genuinely passionate more so on the internet than they are in person. It's like a double-edged sword, right? Like, you could find someone on the internet who's genuinely passionate about something and they come off completely off-putting, and it's not the best. But it could also be very, beneficial and fun, because some people are just super, 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 invested on the internet, and they could really dive into their passions, almost into an uncomfortable level. But at the same time, it's always nice to have conversations like that, like having conversations just about some things, like even like I was saying, like anime or something like that. There's a huge community online for that. And in person, you're gonna see a lot of people being shy about liking anime or art in general. It's just because of the stigma it has or stuff like that. And so when they're in person, they're a little bit more aware of it. They check their corners and they're not so open. But on the internet, people are a lot more open to their inner self, which is like, yeah, it's saying something about our community, but at the same time, there's no way around it now. It's just the way it works. And to have those genuine conversations with people that are 100% passionate about what they do, it doesn't matter about the money they make off of it, it's just something they love to do. Those conversations are always fun. They're the fun ones. The fun ones I would encourage you not to pass up on. Wow, this is fun. I'm having a good time. If you're eating something, let me know what you're eating. I'm hungry. There's always people eating different foods, and going back to the culture sharing thing is like some people have just different foods that they consume every day, and it's like a normal thing. So here's what I'm saying, like I'm creating this layer right here for the eyes because I really don't want to mix the green. I might have like a yellow orangish color. I might try to focus on a little bit more detail, but I'm just gonna call it eyes, right? And I'm pretty sure there's a better way to do this. It's just the way I do it, and like I said, I'm stubborn to learn new ways. I'm really shooting myself in the foot, but see, eyes, yeah, it's really bad with lines and stuff, but who cares? I'm gonna have a yellow, just gonna roll with it. And then I'm gonna put another layer, and then clip that layer on, and whatever's gonna happen, draw on this layer, is gonna fall right on just the yellow, nothing else. So I can go back to my brush, my oil paint flat brush, and I'm painting it in with the same color. So I have like an oil paint base, and I could just start, getting into it and see if I go off, it's not gonna hurt anything. Sometimes I wonder, like what if Bob Ross had this digital art, or this digital fucking painting software. Like what if he had it, Would he use it? Would he turn his head to the idea? Would he think of it as like a, like going back to what we were saying in the beginning, like would he turn it away as like some moving away from your roots, or would he embrace it, I always like to think he'd embrace it and just kind of like roll with whatever life's given him. It's like, and I would like to see what kind of stuff he would create with it. That's a big one too. Like it makes you wonder, like some of like those master talents from way back in the day, like Mozart and stuff. Like if they came and here and saw all this new technology and stuff, and just the massive amount of accessibility they have today, what would they do with all of it? Like we have all these electrical pianos, and you could plug those into computers and get the sound off of them. You could literally look up a YouTube video to learn music and stuff. It's like, what would these insane talents from back then when they had nothing, what would they do if they came to our time today and saw all the stuff we had? Would they make insane stuff? I know we have like modern day Mozarts and stuff like that, but these people had like nothing, absolutely nothing, and they made, well, not absolutely nothing, like they had pianos and stuff, but like they're the ones who like created it, and those are the ones who kind of were the first ones to play around with it and create it. So if they came along with these like new advanced softwares and technology and stuff like that, what would they create? Would they create the next big, masterpieces? I always like to think that they would, because like it's just insane to have like think about like Mozart and stuff. Like he had to create music when it was very primitive back then, when it was, when they had very, very, I mean, they had stuff to go off of, but like it was very little compared to like what we have now. So that just always makes me a little bit curious. Just another random thought. Just another random thought. A little bit of black to that, tone it down a bit, you know what I'm saying? Does anyone else like pizza? I love pizza. It's such a good food. It's like one of those foods that can never fail. I don't know, for some people just don't like pizza. But I love pizza. It's like one of those things that's just like, it just never gets old for me. Like pepperoni pizza, ooh, it's good. I start drawing the line when people put like barbecue and stuff on their pizza. I'm like, you gotta have tomato sauce. Like that's what makes it good. I don't even know what I'm doing. Whatever. But yeah. Like and then there's that whole argument of, ooh, should there be pineapple on pizza and stuff? And I'm like, well, I do draw the line when barbecue sauce goes on. But pineapple, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. One, because it tastes good. I'm just not a big fan of like barbecue sauce. And I'll still eat it. I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's just, I think pineapple with pizza with pineapple on it is more enjoyable than pizza with barbecue on it, because barbecue sauce is like, it's like too sweet for me. I don't know. I'm not a big sweet tooth person. I'm more of like a bitter and salty, spicy kind of person. I like black coffee, but I mean I also like coffee with creamer in it. That's good. Or even just like grapefruit. A lot of people don't like grapefruit because it's too bitter. I guess it's just like it's a genetic thing, I've heard. It's like like when people eat cilantro, whatever, however you say it, I don't know. Whenever people eat that, it's like there's a chemical or something, I forgot what it's called, but there's a chemical that different people have, that if you have cilantro and you have this chemical inside you or whatever, it makes it taste like soap. So there's an actual biological understanding of why people don't like certain foods and whatnot. So I don't know what the extent of that is, and I don't know how far that theory goes beyond food or beyond cilantro, but that is a very interesting concept, because I've never really thought about it that way. I've always thought like, oh, that person just doesn't like it because they just choose to not like it, right? It's just one of those, I mean, I know that's not the case, right? But like, everyone has different preferences, but it's like, I've never really thought of the biology behind it, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But yeah, it's interesting, because that just makes you wonder, like, what other foods out there are people being duped by genetics? Genetics on that topic. It's like the idea of drinking coffee and making you short. That's like an old wives' tale or something like that. Like, I drink, yes, I'm not the tallest mother freaker out there, but I mean, I drink coffee every day. And like, I'm about average. So it's like, if I drank coffee every day since I was 3, wouldn't I be like 3 foot? Since it stunts your growth, I don't know. I just know that study, there's been studies on it, and it's completely false that stunts your growth. Because, I mean, think about Scandinavia, or like Sweden or anything like that. Those people have a specific time of day called fika for coffee. And they drink that shit a lot. And they have some of the tallest people in that country. So, I mean, based off, my statistics, my research, it seems illogical that coffee stunts your growth. Because if the countries with the tallest people on it consume the most coffee, how can that be physically possible? Right? Right? I know we're getting to like borderline tinfoil hat status, but I think it's a viable theory. I don't know, what's your take on that? I mean, there's probably like a lot of 6-foot people out there that like, I never drank coffee and I drank my milk and ate my veggies and that's why I'm this big, but it's just genetics. Like, there's no way around it. Like, sorry, but if you're born small, then you're gonna, I mean, no, it's not if you're born small. If your parents have small genetics, it's a very high probability that your genetics are just gonna be the same. And that's, I don't know, that's something that's like, I don't know, why do people focus on height too much? It's just one of those things that's your character, and you just gotta like that. Who cares if you're big or small or any of that? It's just you're given that, so deal with it. If you're unhappy with it, learn to like it. Learn to like it. Isn't that one that I don't have Netflix, but I've seen like people making videos about it. It's that one thing called Tall Girl or whatever. Like, I don't understand, but someone's complaining about being tall, and I think she's a woman, and she's only 6 foot, I believe, from what I'm not some savant on this movie. It's just the idea of someone complaining about that to make an entire movie out of it just sounded absolutely freaking ridiculous. But I don't know, it could be a good movie. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I can't judge it. I just sound ridiculous, but I mean, there's been movies about ridiculous things like Avatar, the blue people. That's a pretty ridiculous movie, but it was fairly decent. It's about like these people going to another planet, and they go into like blue people, and they have sex with hair. It's pretty bizarre, if you ask me. If you haven't seen Avatar, I'm sorry. That probably sounded really, really weird, but it is weird. It is a very, very, very weird movie. But it won so many awards, I think, and they said they're making a second one or something like that sometime. I don't know. They said it was coming like 2020, 2021 or something. I don't know. The first one came out in 2009. I remember seeing it, and I was still young. And they're like, sequel coming. And we have not seen one yet. So, is this still happening? Who knows? Who knows? If anyone out there is like a super big Avatar, blue people, Avatar fan, pretty sure you guys know all about that when it's coming out and stuff, or if it's coming out. So maybe we could probably get into the reason why I have an octopus on the screen. I'm really into H.P. Lovecraft, and I wasn't necessarily outright thinking about it, but that's just kind of what I go to sometimes, is an octopus. I wasn't really thinking on the spot, but now I realize H.P. Lovecraft. His horror stories, like the Lovecraftian horror, I'm a big fan of it. So if any of you guys are listening to this and you guys are big fans of H.P. Lovecraft, I would love to talk about it, because that stuff is just, oh man, that's just amazing. For those of you who don't know what Lovecraftian horror is, it's the fear, essentially it's the fear of the unknown. So like, it really gets into like religious aspects. I know that could be a turn off for some people, but it really gets into like the unknown. So like you have like the idea that us humans are so insignificant to the grand scheme of the universe that we just don't know what's out there, you know. So it's like the basis for a lot of movies, a lot of good movies too. Like it's like a Lovecraftian kind of a movie. Pennywise the clown, he's kind of like this ultra dimensional being that no one really knows about. I mean, they kind of, I mean, for me, they kind of ruin it by kind of explaining the lore of it and stuff. But in the second one and all that kind of crap. But the idea of like there's an, you know, ultra dimensional being that comes from another world and he does all these weird and bizarre things and they just don't know what's going on or what he's doing is like the, I guess, or it is kind of like the basis of like a Lovecraftian story that, you know, it's the fear of the unknown. They don't know what's going on and that's the fear of it. So like the straight up fear that you just don't know what's going to happen. And it really gets into like, you know, our lives, you know, mine and yours or anyone's, of like why religion was created. Like it's, I don't know if there's any religious people out there watching this, but if it's the reason why, I don't want to say the reason, but a theory of why religion is created is because we don't know what happens after death, and we like to fill that in. We like to fill that in with you know, an afterlife or some sort of you know, story of what happens to us after death, and that really comforts us in our journey through life, that we have something to look forward to, you know, after death. And like if we have that idea, then how can we possibly be you know, scared of death if we have, you know, an afterlife to look forward to and stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of the idea. Sorry for being a little bit rambling. I was trying to focus on the painting at the same time, trying to talk and yada yada yada. So long story short, Lovecraftian horror is the fear of the unknown, and religion is like a big part of it because humans fear what happens to them after death, so they fill it in with all these interesting, intricate stories of like afterlives, and you have like the Greek mythology crap with like afterlives and all these different things. So that's humans' way of coping with the unknown. It's to fill in that emptiness. But you know, Lovecraftian or cosmic horror really opens that up and really pushes that bruise of the unknown and kind of just really upsets the human nature of that. Yep, just a crazy philosophy freak, poorly explaining simple concepts. I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel like that though, right? Like, you know, when something sounds good on paper, like, I don't know, let's say like some of you guys might have like a crush or something, like a girl or a guy, and you like, you could word it out so good in your head, but then when you go out and say it, it's just like, oh, when you say, oh, I want to say this to what's his face, and you go up to say it and your mind just goes blank. Yeah, that right there, what I just explained, is what's happening right now with this painting and stuff. It's like, yes, I have this amazing idea to explain, but will it come out? And the answer is kind of, I don't know. We're almost running on 2 hours, so I'm excited. Because boy, if anyone got this far, I need to stop mentioning that. That's such a stupid thing to mention. Doesn't matter. Maybe slap myself. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm going to do this again for sure, though. This is fun. So, if you're wondering, oh, I hope he didn't get discouraged that I didn't like his video, or hope he didn't get discouraged that he didn't know I was watching. Don't worry, I'm doing another one. Just kidding now. No, I'm not kidding. I'm going to do another one for sure. I really need to get better at talking and stuff into the camera and doing tasks at the same time. It's a very, I think it's a good skill to have when it comes to anything. Being able to multitask, but at the same time have these intricate ways of doing crap. Now, okay, what's good for a background? Oh, another cool feature about this thing. Probably next video I'll do a whole video diving into the features and actually doing a real decent piece of art. Oh shit, I really messed that up. Doing a decent piece of art, but I could merge all these layers right here, right? Not that one. I can merge all these layers. Probably a better way to do it. And then I could just select, oh shoot. I could select one single layer, but since I'm done with this, I'm just gonna move this, and then I could go cut and paste. Here's the copy, and here, boop. That didn't work as planned. That is because I attached the paper to it. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to put all the layers, boop, 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 all layers, except for the paper. And I'm going to merge selected layers. The paper's still there. And here's the moment of truth. Did I do it right this time? Still getting better at this, guys. Give me a break. And I'm going to cut, paste. This is the copy here. There you go. And I can move it. So I'm going to move it to the center. I don't even know what this is, so if you guys know what this is, let me know. And we're going to choose a very obnoxious color for the background, because I think that is essential for this kind of... We'll try this. This is my favorite part. It's just doing random... It's like green screen background right here. Oh, green screen. I don't know. Just doing random color. Maybe like an orange. Thinking maybe like an orange. Like a red. Maybe like a pale blue. Maybe something completely... Yeah, I think I'm going to go for an orange. Maybe like a little brighter orange. Like there. Oh yeah, that's obnoxious. That's interesting. Yeah, you can see all these like little fragment whites and stuff. You know, I didn't really pay too much. I could definitely fix that, but I'm not going to. Because you know what? We're going to do what we do best. Not care. And here's another thing. I could actually put a background. Some random background. I could like even... Yeah, it doesn't, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but you know what? I think I'm just going to stick with it. Maybe I'll tone it down a bit. There we go. That looks more bearable. And you're probably like, ew, such ugly colors and whatnot. But you know what? We're going to roll with it. I think that's it. That's the artwork for today. It is an octopus with some fists behind him, sludging behind him, just missing him. He's a Pokemon, and he just dodged an attack. And he's not even fazed by it, because because the artist didn't even consider that. So yeah, I mean, that's basically it. That was just me rambling on for 2 hours. Yeah, about 2 hours. And drawing into this software right here. So yeah, I had a good time. So yeah, if any of you guys managed to make it through these 2 hours, or if you skipped to the end, right over here, and you're just listening to this right now, thank you. I thanks for listening, or thanks for having this on in the background while you're doing something. I hope you at least enjoyed a little bit. If you did, then I'll be making more. Be sure to leave a comment, like, and if you guys really, really, really like it, please consider subscribing. I can't stress enough how amazing it is, how amazing it would be to have even a small amount of people, joining along with these conversations and stuff like that. Just to have someone, just to know that I have at least one or two people that I'm talking to and stuff like that, and we could share our passion for art, or pretty much anything in general about, in these conversations and stuff like that. So yeah, if you have any questions or anything like that, put them in the comments below. And yeah, any topics or anything that you want me to try to draw, I'll definitely take requests or recommendations and stuff like that. That would be cool. But yeah, that was just me talking and drawing for, I don't know, 2 hours or so. So yeah, have a good one, and hopefully I see you next time. All right, goodbye.